Is an Israeli invasion of Lebanon inevitable? Despite efforts by the US to tame down the possibility of a war between Israel and Hezbollah, all signs on the ground suggest that it is inevitable. On Monday, in fact, America's top diplomat inadvertently confirmed this possibility. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken admitted that the U.S. sees momentum building towards a war between Israel and Hezbollah. Speaking at an event in Washington, Blinken said that Israel has effectively lost sovereignty in the northern part of the country due to persistent cross-border attacks by Hezbollah. Now, that is a significant statement and it's a big admission. The question is Blinken admitting that Israel has lost control of a part of its territory to Hezbollah? Will Israel avenge this by invading Lebanon, where Hezbollah is based? No wonder then the Biden administration has been working furiously in recent weeks to stop a wider conflict. You see, Blinken's comments come as Israel has signaled a military downshift in Gaza. Israel has been refocusing its resources to the northern border, where it has exchanged near daily fire with the Iran-backed Hezbollah group. Although the two sides have traded fire since the beginning of the Gaza war, tensions spiked to the point that Iran issued a new threat after weeks of being silent. Tehran has warned Israel of an obliterating war. In a post on social media last Friday, Iran's mission to the United Nations said that Tehran warned that all options, including the full involvement of all resistance fronts, are on the table. As per the data collected by the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, ACLED, and reported by Al Jazeera, there have been over 7,000 cross-border attacks between Israel and Lebanon since October 7, 2023. Those watching the conflict closely are convinced that in the absence of a ceasefire deal in Gaza, a large-scale Israel versus Hezbollah war will break out in the next several weeks, one that experts fear would be far more dangerous today than the last time around. Now, the international community, of course, is concerned. This week, the escalating tensions on the Israel-Lebanese border prompted Germany, the Netherlands and Canada to urge their citizens to leave Lebanon as soon as possible via the commercial flights still operating in the country. Meanwhile, Lufthansa Group halted night flights to and from Beirut until 31st of July. Swiss Airlines also moving the Beirut night flights to daytime. The U.S. has been trying hard to defuse the tensions. It has also issued a travel advisory for the U.S. citizens, urging them to strongly reconsider travel to Lebanon. Now, Blinken says that the U.S. is determined to prevent the conflict. He says that both sides do not want a wider war, but that analysis has been made based on the present conditions. If the war in Gaza has taught us anything, it is that developments in West Asia are highly dynamic. Restraint does not mean that Hezbollah and Israel do not want war. Rather, it could mean that both Hezbollah and Israel's leadership are currently confronted by a range of constraints that have put the brakes on a conflict for now. But the thing is, these constraints are already breaking down. When former Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz declared last week that Israel can plunge Lebanon completely into the dark, he was serious. It won't be difficult for Israel to plunge Lebanon into darkness. Lebanon's power grid, already crippled by the country's economic collapse, barely functions as it is. If Israel strikes it, it will easily finish it off. However, taking apart Hezbollah's military power in days is a far taller task. Since its inconclusive war with the Lebanese militant group in 2006, Israel has been planning for a rematch, and so has Hezbollah. The Iran-backed group's arsenal includes at least 150,000 missiles and rockets. The sophistication of Hezbollah's attacks even surprised Israeli officials. Hezbollah has demonstrated systematic pinpoint strikes on Israel's surveillance outposts along the border. They have shot down high-flying, top-of-the-line Israeli drones. They have hit Israel's Iron Dome batteries and anti-drone defenses. And then last month, they left the biggest surprise for Israel when they published a 9-minute-long drone footage of Israel's highly sensitive civilian and military infrastructure. Let's not forget here, Hezbollah can reportedly field between 40,000 and 50,000 fighters. Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah recently said that they have more than 100,000 fighters, many of whom have gained combat experience fighting alongside regime forces in the Syria civil war. As a fighting force, it is highly trained and disciplined. Ultimately, we are talking about the world's most powerful non-state militia. Hezbollah is, remember, far more powerful than Hamas. In the event of a war, both sides will be able to inflict significant pain on the other. And on the other side, are Israel's top generals now war-weary? The generals think their forces need time to recuperate, knowing that a land war with Hezbollah could be likely. Nearly 9 months into a war that Israel did not plan for, its army is short on munitions, motivation. And this is where the Israeli military and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu diverge. Netanyahu, as we know, has opposed a truce that would allow Hamas to survive the war, but Netanyahu is running out of options as well. Publicly, Israel has said that it is prepared for an all-out war with Hezbollah. Looking across West Asia, the strategic balance that for so long favored Israel seems to be changing. It is surrounded by an array of non-state actors, from Hezbollah to Hamas to Islamic Jihad to the Houthis to militias in Iraq and Syria, all pleading allegiance to Iran. An all-out war could lead to mass civilian deaths in both Lebanon as well as Israel. It will also see the US getting pulled into a larger regional conflict, perhaps. Will then Netanyahu risk going to war with Hezbollah? The next few weeks are crucial and will determine a lot. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.